Yeah, that spiritual wickedness in high places, part two. Back to the Canadian reporter guy who's a ninja, he's a part of the Japanese Illuminati, supposedly. I mean, listen, some of this stuff, I mean, it's totally outlandish, man. But for some reason you want to just listen to and hear what these people had to say. And he said while he was over in Japan, he was writing about things that was getting too close to the Yakuza, and they basically sent this woman to him, and she was like, yes, we have been getting information from our goddess. And he was saying that goddess is code word for their intelligence agency, but they tell everyone it's the goddesses. So it sounds all mystified, and it also covers for the fact that, no, you got a network with a computer, and you're tied up in with them EIEIO bid. What the hell? Okay, damn, cat back there, look. I didn't see nothing, but heard a bunch of noise, man. I was like, man, them gremlins. Anyway, that's more of this kind of like point to the mountain, strike the grindstone, magicianry, pickpocketry, connivery, griftery, connery, fraud. There's a movie, what the heck was that movie, man? There's a movie with Sylvester Stallone where he's a card player. And this whole movie's about all these people, and they do all these cons to get this money, and they get into this big card tournament, and then they all conning on each other, and it's a bunch of grifters with fake identities. They put on masks and wigs and dirty clothes, and they do all these crazy things and con people out of money, man. It's just crazy. But a lot of ways that is evil, because you're cheating people out of money. So I mean, that's really what your witchcraft really looks like, your spiritual wickedness in high places. Just like voting, that voting is just a fraud, man. If you don't know that all the presidents are related to Dracula. I mean, I don't know if they just somehow made that up and they were like, watch, we're really just going to terrorize the public, man, with this knowledge. We're just going to drop it on them like it's hot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that could be magicianry, but I mean, no, in a way, this is draconian bloodline wickedness in spiritual places. I mean, like the descendants of the fallen, basically. Are they still amongst us? In bloodline? I don't know. I think they believe that, or either once again, it's magic, psychological terrorism that they want to make us believe they're more powerful than they are. So, there's multiple applications to how you use this magic. You know what I'm saying? And then you throw the K on it, and that's where they believe through blood sacrifice and ritual magic that they get powers. And I mean, there's some validity that's real. So once you get past the con man grifter and get into the real stuff, I mean, there's a real stuff too. And they do it. They do it through purposefully letting a plane get shot down, or having a celebrity die in a plane crash, or a disaster. Oh, a building burns down and a bunch of people are in it. I mean, just things like that. They set up little disasters, man, it seems like. And they just, like, because they always happen on certain dates. Or whether is it like, are they channeling some kind of, like the Mothman, how the Mothman would show up, then the bridge would break. And then the men in black would come through the town and question everyone who was there that seen it, like, supposedly. But you can also look into this dude named, what was the guy's name, man? There's a dude named Rorik, and he had this green stone in this box, and it was a green stone that came from Lucifer's eye. Lucifer, the fallen angel, their god, their one-eyed god, that lives in a triangle. Anyway, there's this congressman. He almost became president too, man. And he was like one of the first. He was a theosophist, like a pantheology. That's like you believe that the sun is God, the earth is God, the water is God, we are God, the spirits are God. I mean, it's just a very open, inclusive of anything type of a doctrine. But really, that's on the surface, it's like that. But really, they believe that Lucifer created everything. So in a way, they're saying, yeah, Lucifer is Lord. You know what I'm saying? But in a way, they want you to think that, oh yeah, earth is God, we are God, you are God, I am God. the water, the ground, the volcano, the alien that came in the volcano, he's God. You know what I mean? They got all these weird paganistic, neo-pagan, like the Nazis. You don't realize the Nazis' whole thing. They cover this up. They make it seem all just fascist. This machine that looks like the Emperor or the Empire on Star Wars. But when they took off the uniforms, they were dancing around doing yoga, doing all these pagan ritual ceremonies like the witch festivals, and doing all their customs, man. So I mean, the blood sun cult is the Nazi cult. I mean, the Mayans was a Nazi-esque type of a society. There's a lot of examples where society gets kind of like that. You know, like you see that movie Clash of the Titans, and they got the virgin out on the chain to the rock to feed to the big sea monster. I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. Because, I mean, it wasn't a sea monster. That virgin would be sacrificed to the beasts of the earth, the kings, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, that they traded them for, you know, for like truces and treaties and combining bloodlines, draconian families and shizzle. But there has always been a high-level secret, druid, occult, black magic, magicians, wizards. A wizard is a dude who deals in the K magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Batwing, Dragonfoot, Virgin Blood. You know what I'm saying? A magician is someone who deals in the sleight of hand magic. You know what I'm saying? In mystical things. And like I said, that's a lot of, it's grifterism and cons that when it comes to that. But when you step over it in the K territory, that's like, could be like the real stuff, like that was in the Bible when the Witch of Endor channeled Samuel the prophet. You know what I mean? So it's mentioned that that stuff is possible too. And then you got your Greek cults where they sat in the methane temples and had hallucinations and could foretell the future. And you know, like the Greek Renaissance guys who said that they channeled demons. And then you got John Dee, the occultist for the Queen, this black magician Kabbalist that's tied up into the Voynich manuscript. Nostradamus is this type of guy too. They dabbled in the K realm, and they could channel in astral project and astral project basically, and or receive visions through like scrying and channeling. I mean, and there's a big uptick in people they're really like this psychic channeling, like people you see, people that channel in ascended masters, and they talk like this, and they start tweaking out and acting all weird and shaking around. I mean, there's people that channel beings and talk like this, and they're always like, "We will be one. You will ascend and become. You don't need God. You are God." That's what they always say, and I mean, it's just really strange, man. That these people are all, you know, they're channeling this guru spirit. You know what I mean? And but you look at Edward Casey, how accurate was he when he was? They said he'd fall asleep, and he could channel or shoot around and learn things. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but you know, it's like Reagan had his own soothsayer, his personal guru type, guru magician, wizard. Abraham Lincoln's wife was into wizardry or witchery and soothsaying, astral stuff. You know, I mean, some of these people, actually, Reagan was shot. He was the last one to get shot by the 0-year Tecumseh curse, and Lincoln got taken out in the 0-year curse, I think. So it's kind of weird, and these guys were high-level occultists, man. I'm just telling you. Or it's like they might not be themselves, but they have high-level occultists working for them. But then you hear this guy talk about what he did at Bohemian Grove and how it's kind of a mind trick. But then again, there is some, you know, it just depends, man. You know, so you see a lot of movies where they suggest that a lot of magic is all about making someone think themselves, to trying to get them to believe in the into what they're doing a lot, you know. So a lot of it does work on the mind, you know. And it's like with TV and all the stuff they got and all this, it's so easy to program people And in a way, if people do believe in something, even if it ain't true, it does give it this kind of weird mystical power. But it's deception power, and therefore it's evil and it's from the dark side. It's like a lot of people got to get this, because you expose the works of darkness. It's like it's not talking about participating in them in this situation. I'm exposing them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about participating in them. It's like, but people do participate in them, and it's going on all around us, and it's good to be aware. It's like it's just real crazy. These are some real sick people, though, when it comes down to it. Because, I mean, just Bohemian Grove itself is called, it's a child sacrifice ceremony. I mean, that's what it's called. It's not, they don't call it an effigy. They say it's a sacrifice. So even if it's a fake representation, it's still a fucking sacrifice in a way. Because people are in there, in that spirit, in that agreement. So in a way, all their projected energy in this ritual kind of makes it real. And they're kind of making this satanic black hole that sucks in all the energy around it, kind of like bubble in the supernatural world that sucks in and just grows bigger and bigger. And every year they go and throw some more energy into this black hole. I mean, they really sacrifice, because they can do butt sex, gay rituals, and you can look into the black magic with a K, the Aleister Crowley. We are in the age of Horus, because, I mean, literally, that's what Crowley said, that every child must be exposed to every sexual act at a very young age to initiate the age of Horus. And they do teach all the kids at school in like 3rd, 4th grade, every sexual act. Literally what Crowley said. And people don't know this. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's real evil occult black magic going on right in front of you. What it is, it's like someone is imposing their will, and they're implementing these evil deeds, man, right? That listen, with unhindered now. And it's because of all this blood sacrifice, butt sex at the Bohemian Grove all these years, where that contribute to the these rituals, because they believe if you spill out, genetic material, blood, and other things, the demons will grant you wishes like genies. You know what I'm saying? Like the genies will grant your wishes. Like literally, there's some truth to that. That's where your whole satanic contract, spells, some stuff like that, come from, is the jinn. The jinn supposedly can grant your wishes, but I mean at a price. Or either that, if you know all their stuff, if you know their symbols and their commands, like just like hypnosis and shit, you know the trigger, the command, you can make a Manchurian activate. Just like that way, if you know the symbols, the front and the back, the command, the stop, the go, you can control the demons. I mean, that's King Solomon. In the Testament of King Solomon, it talks about how he had access to the demon world to build the temple. And it's also in Enoch that one of the look, the Hebrews, some Hebrews were taught in this stuff, and they knew how to control the demons, what make them stay away, things like this. And it's people are unaware of how widespread they do this now. Like you look at logos on a corporations, those are spells. Those are what ancient magicians used to do to conjure demons and send demons and stuff. And that is the spiritual wickedness in high places, man. And like I said, man, if you can't read the symbols, that means the symbol controls you, because it means it's occulted, which means they get to communicate right in front of you and you can't recognize it. So therefore, they own you. You're their slave. But if you can learn their language, it doesn't necessarily set you all the way free of it. You know what I'm saying? It lets you know, though, where you're at, who's throwing up the signs where, and you know what I'm saying? You can really literally learn it almost like a gang. Like you can see where the gang at, how many years. You go look at the graveyard, you see like 1875 bafflement, flip pentagrams all around these graveyards, and you can read the family name, and you go driving around the neighborhood and the roads are named after them. That's how long this has been going on, the spiritual wickedness in high places. Right next to that, Baal's old unit there on the high point in the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's non-debatable. You know what I'm saying? You go anywhere and see that. So I mean, for hundreds of years, they have staked their claim and marked their territory.